right. Shalom Yasharala. Before we get started, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. And double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that teach and read well. Peace and citations to the 04 elect. Back another video, another lesson. And the title of this one's going to be Myanmar Earthquake, over 3,000 dead. All right. It's going to be like a sort of a news report. But if you haven't heard, all right, Myanmar, which I believe that's in India. You can look it up, actually. Myanmar. Well, Southeast Asia. I'm on Google. Yeah. It's called Burma. So it's in the region of, it's in that region, all right, of near Asia. Well, in Asia. All right. It's near Thailand. All right. So around that region. They had a 7.7 earthquake. All right. Then left over. Well, this is the updated version. I had a other article from CNN. The smell of death still lingers in the town at the epicenter of Myanmar's earthquake. All right. But I'll read this one from NPR because it's a more updated version. But it says, forecast of a week of rain adds to Myanmar earthquake woes as death toll tops 3,500. So this is more, and this is just more judgment played out by, the Lord, man. You may have some people out there say, see, that's Esau using his that what they call that harp system, which that could be true, but it's still judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It says people in Myanmar's earthquake-stricken areas brace for thunderstorms late Sunday after heavy rains and winds heavy rains and winds the previous night disrupted rescue and relief operations and added to the misery of the many who lost their homes in the disaster and were forced to sleep in the open. Man. Myanmar state-run MRTV reported on Sunday evening that scattered showers and thunderstorms possible across the country for the next week. So just imagine, you lost your house, you probably more likely lost your family. You may have, your daughter or your son, but your husband is gone. The rest of your children are dead. You probably had a pet dog or a cat. All of that is gone from this earthquake. Now you got to deal with rain and winds, It says, and quote, the public is advised to be aware of possibility of untimely rain accompanied by strong winds, lightning, hail, and landslides. My goodness. MRTV said, daytime temperatures are forecast to reach 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit by midweek. The epicenter of the 7.7 magnitude quake on March 28th was near Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city. It hit a wide swath of the country, causing significant damage to 6 regions and states, including the capital. I can't say that word. Naypyidaw. Hope I said that right. It says Major General Zaw Min Tun, a spokesperson for the military government, said Sunday in an audio message to journalists that 3,564 people have been confirmed dead so far. Woo. With 5,000 others injured and 210 missing. The quake left many areas without power, telephone, or cell communications, and damaged roads and bridges, hindering damage assessments. An official from Myanmar Rescue Federation told the Associated Press on Sunday that rescuers had to temporarily shut down electrical equipment and machines used in search operations due to the rain on Saturday and Sunday, making work more difficult, but not halting it. The official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because he was afraid of being arrested by the military for speaking without authorization, said rescuers, and this means anonymous, this word anatomy, hope I said it right, the condition of being anonymous. All right, it says because he was afraid of being arrested by the military for speaking without authorization, said rescuers will continue All right, search operations despite the possibility of more rain. Another rescuer working in Mandalay, similarly speaking on condition of anatomy, said the rain and strong winds caused some buildings to collapse, causing further hardship for those seeking shelter. The Irrawaddy, an online Myanmar news site operating in exile, reported that at least 80 dead bodies were found in the wreckage of the Great Wall Hotel in Mandalay after the removal of walls and rubble on Sunday afternoon. Its report could not immediately be confirmed. Myanmar Fire Services Department said in a statement on Sunday that rescuers recovered 5 bodies from collapsed buildings in Mandalay. Myanmar has had a military government since February 2021 when the army ousted the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi. It tolerates no criticism and is engaged in a civil war against pro-democracy resistance forces and ethnic minority guerrilla armies. So over 3,500 dead. This is just the more judgment played out by the Lord, man. And you can read this one on your own. All right. I'll put the link in the description. Let's start with this one, Isaiah 29:6. Right? Well, let's read this first. Psalms 37. All right, in 28. It reads, I'll start at 27. It says, "Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore. For the Lord," his name is Yahweh, his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Okay, "For the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints." Who are his saints? The saints are the Israelites. All right. It says, "They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off." You see, so the Lord loveth judgment. It says in Zephaniah, let's get that. Okay, Zephaniah 3:5. It says, "The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame." So every morning the Lord brings judgment, man. You see? And this is no different. Judgment on, now we do have, it is scattered of, Israelites among them, but because they're in, idolatry. But this is, also judgment on the heathen. You see? Let's get Isaiah 29 and verse 6, and it says, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, of hosts, with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire." So they getting rain, winds, all that. They just had an earthquake. Now they got to deal with rain and more winds. Imagine that. See, people in America can't imagine something like that happening. That was a 7.7 earthquake, right? Let's get Isaiah 40. What's that? 45 and 7. It reads, "I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, do all these things." The Lord does this. And he just brings, more judgment. See? This is, let's get 2 Esdras 9. Yeah, 2 Esdras 9. I start at verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, which we're seeing right now, and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." And let's get got another one. All right, "Mass protests across the country show resistance to Trump." See, so this is uproars of the people. It says, "They came out in defense of national parks and small businesses, public education, and healthcare for veterans, abortion rights, and fair elections. They marched against tariffs and oligarchs, dark money, and fascism, and the deportation of legal immigrants, and the Department of Government Efficiency. Demonstrators had no shortage of causes as they gathered in towns and cities across the country on Saturday to protest President Trump's agenda. Rallies were planned in all 50 states, and images posted on social media showed dense crowds in places as diverse as St. Augustine, Florida, Salt Lake City, and rainy Frankfort, Kentucky. And you see, they got pictures. All right, this is in Manhattan. The crowd stretched for nearly 20 blocks in Manhattan. Protesters at National Mall in Washington on Saturday. Protesters in Atlanta. It says pouring rain, 43 degrees, biting wind, and people are still here in Albany in the thousands, said Ron Mars, a comic book writer who posted a photo of the crowd at the New York State Capitol on X. While crowd sizes are difficult to estimate, organizers said that more than 600,000 people had signed up to participate and that events also took place in U.S. territories in a dozen locations across the globe. On Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, the protest stretched for nearly 20 blocks. In Chicago, thousands flooded Daily Pizza, Daily Plaza, and adjacent streets. While in the nation's capital, tens of thousands surrounded the Washington Monument. In Atlanta, the police estimated the crowd marching to the Gold Dome State House at over 20,000. Mr. Trump, who was playing golf in Florida on Saturday, appeared to be largely ignoring the protests. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Some of the demonstrators waved American flags, occasionally turned upside down to signal distress. Many, especially federal workers and college students, did not want to speak on the record for fear of retaliation. Right-wing slogans like "Stop the Steal" were co-opted in defense of Social Security, medical care, and cancer research. And as we were out on Saturday, I saw, there were people who had signs. I don't know where they were. I think they were doing the protest as well here in Baltimore, but it wasn't nowhere near us, But as we were out there, doing the work, on the highways and byways preaching the word, I was seeing, people with signs, and it was getting, toward the end of camp anyway. People had signs and stuff like that, It says I'm terrified. Are you? One play card read, and he said I'm terrified because of the tariffs. Global financial markets tumbled this week at Mr. Trump's announcement of tariff increases, which many economists warn will raise prices for U.S. consumers. Republicans in Congress wrestled over budget proposals that included cuts to Medicaid and SNAP food benefits. You can read more on this, but as you see, uproars of the people, man. The people are, are getting restless. Okay? Let's get this last one. Let's get Matthew. This is 24:7. I started at 4, and it says, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. We hear these different, rumors of wars playing out. You got the Israel-Hamas war, the Russian-Ukraine, then different, small wars taking place. It says, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. This is just the beginning of what's to come. So, more judgment is planned, is going out. People are getting restless, and eventually, it's going to lead to Esau bringing down that sword, So, Lord willing, this was edifying to your brothers and your sisters out there, all right? And expect to see more and more judgment. This was just a little taste. 3,000. It's gonna, that the Lord's gonna increase. Soon we're gonna start seeing 10,000 and 20,000 and 30,000. Then you're gonna start seeing 100,000. It's gonna continually increase as we go on, man. So we're gonna give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rachak Wadash. And double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, the teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the 04 elect. Lords of yours edified. To this video, I'm going to say, Shalom.